How much do you know about the Aarakocra? Chances are, without playing Tomb of Annihilation, you may never have come across one that isn't just a player trying to use a bow in a fancy way. I think, in all honesty, most Dungeons & Dragons fans know Aarakocra mostly from the D&D movie. Isn't that just a little sad? That this is a race that people have visualised and built up for ages, and we basically know nothing about them. Take a moment to think about it. What do you actually know about the Aarakocra? Like, they live 30 years, which is terribly short, but most people don't know more than that. So why am I talking about the Aarakocra and the Orville? Why is this a D&D video so heavily centred around the Orville? And what did this man do to get my attention?
Be serious. Just do whatever he says and don't flirt with him.
I'm not going to hell, okay.
And I promise you it's not just the mustache. From here on in, I am going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible for all seasons of the Orville. I am only going to be focusing on Bortus' personal story, Mocklus, and the Mocklins.
Commander Bortus, our second officer.
So why am I interested in Bortus and why am I interested in making this video? Quite simply put, most players don't know enough about the races in D&D. Orcs are just there to pillage the village, the ogres just eat man flesh, and the Aarakocra live 30 years and fly high and shoot arrows. But what do you actually know about your playable races? Many DMs just assume you know what they're like. Most people don't take the time to build up their world. The Orville built up a race in record time. They gave us statements of biological importance, they gave us background on the planet, they did a lot of show, don't tell. So it's not just a character doing a massive exposition dump. We enjoyed learning about those characters, and that's what I want to bring to my table and hopefully to yours. So this video is me explaining to you why I think the Orville did such a good job building up the Mocklins as a race, and how I'm going to adapt that for my table. Starting off, we need to talk about the planet Mocklus, obviously the home to the Mocklins.
I hate this planet. They've completely industrialized the entire surface. It's amazing they can even breathe.
This leads into their evolutionary adaptations, and this is a big part of what makes Bortus and the other Mocklins unique throughout the series. I love how the adaptations of the Mocklin race are explained to us as the viewer. They're always given a scenario. It's never just a character sat there explaining it, unless it comes from the medical officer or is part of a tactical advantage.
Lieutenant, what is that?
What, you never seen sushi? It's a regional dish from Earth. Raw fish. You wanna try it? No, wait, that's wasabi?
You gotta be kidding me. You just ate the whole ball.
Dude, are you okay?
I am feeling no discomfort.
How? If I ate half that much, I'd be throwing up and crying in it.
The Mocklin digestive system is quite resilient. Because of our planet's harsh climate, my species evolved to draw nourishment from a wide variety of organic and inorganic matter.
Let's take a moment to ponder our orb. If we had a D&D party meet a character who could eat anything, what would be the first thing they would do as players?
Can you eat this?
Oh, come on, Gordon. He's gonna hurt himself.
Oh, come on. No way.
What about this glass?
Honestly, can anybody tell me where the lie is? An industrial world led to a lack of vegetation. A lack of vegetation led to a unique diet. A unique diet led to a gameplay interaction, and the gameplay interaction led to a great moment for your players. This is core D&D. Let's expand that. From the pages of How to Win Friends and Influence People, there is one all-important law of human conduct. Always make the other person feel important. I can hear you thinking, how is this relevant to the Orville and D&D?
I never cease to be impressed by the resilience of the Mocklin body. Your radiation absorption is minimal.
To make a player, not their character, a player, feel important in your game, give their character opportunities to shine. If they're resistant to cold, immune to poison, particularly good at performance, super strong, lean into their strengths. In that clip, Bortus saved an entire planet on the brink of being consumed by a star because he was immune to radiation. Imagine him as a D&D player. He would be very fulfilled as a character, knowing their character meant something.
I feel quite important. Can I have a little bell?
So here's a really obvious but interesting thing about the Mocklins. They're a male-only race who lay eggs.
Clyden, come.
As early as episode 2 in the Orville, the male-dominated nature of the Moclan race becomes a point of contention with many ranking females and opposing planets' views. This narrative is mostly explored with the relationship between Clyden, Bortus's mate, and Commander Kelly. Many times when a narrative is written in Dungeons & Dragons, it's as simple as the orcs want to take over, the elves think they're better than everybody else. We spend so much time building up culture as a way of breeding conflict in our D&D worlds. We forget to add whimsy, and we need whimsy to enjoy our downtime with our friends as we are playing a role-play game. Here's a great example from the series.
You know, I've never met a single-gender species before. Your entire species is male, isn't it?
That is correct, sir.
So there's probably not a lot of arguments about leaving the toilet seat up and that kind of thing, right?
No. Moclans urinate only once per year.
Really? I'm up 2-3 times a night.
That is unfortunate.
And this clip led into my next point, significant events in their calendar that add up to their culture.
I am here to request that we alter course.
Alter course to where?
Muckless.
Whoa, back up. This is not another baby thing, is it?
No. Sir, you are aware that Moclans urinate only once per year.
I am, yeah.
It is my time.
Bear with me, this is actually significant, and not just stupid, I promise you.
Once a year, every Moclan must prepare for his Jaloja, the Great Release. They must travel to their Nakafas, a place they select during childhood. There, amidst family and friends, a Moclan urinates, signifying a cleansing of the spirit and the beginning of a new year in his life. As you are my closest friends, I would like you to be there. In the sight of those who stand with me, and those for whom I would sacrifice my being, I begin the release. Kalashka. Memek. Godlas Fecto. Roshas. Bomval.
I'm guessing none of you watching this thought that would be so serious and uniting between all the characters. In fact, I'd go out on a limb and say most of you react like this with a comment, or if not, your players would.
What if it's like a windy day?
So let's move away from the big culture of the Moclan race and focus more on the individuals, what they do for downtime, and little quirks about their character.
What do Moclans do for fun off-duty? Do you guys play, like, board games or anything like that?
There is a popular Moclan game called Latchcomb that we play from time to time.
Oh, well, break it out. Show me.
I do not believe you would enjoy it. It is not for humans.
Come on, you know, there's so much I don't know about your culture. I want to learn.
I will pass the latchcomb to you, then you pass it to whomever you wish as quickly as possible.
All right. So, what, does this just go on until somebody...
Latchcomb!
This scene gave a really good example of cultural ignorance and differences that was very non-oppositional. This is quite common in our day-to-day life, but I think we forget about it in Dungeons & Dragons. How is a goblin's 5th birthday celebrated? What kind of food do you present at an elven wedding? These aren't things we discuss, but they make the game so much more flavourful. Every question here is going to be as a result of me watching the Orville, learning something about the Moclans, Bortus directly, and the consequences that came from it. Whether it be humorous to me, or adding to the world, or even bringing some tragedy, everything I'm going to question was relevant in the series.
Looks like this going in. I'm afraid of what it looks like coming out.
Absada does not come out. It grows into a parasite within the body. The sensation is intensely pleasurable.
So here is a compiled list of questions I'm going to be asking myself about any NPC's race, or just how they play in general. Feel free to screenshot any of these and use these in your own notes. I actively encourage it. From now on, every single one of these is part of my mind when I'm going into building a world. If any of these questions do help you in your homebrew, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to see if this kind of content is landing with you, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. We have just surpassed 1,000. Now, with these questions specifically, you will find them in the player's handbook. They are just the basics of the race. So move aside those. We're going to Mike Moans it up a little bit. The key word here is whimsical. We're going to be looking at whimsical traits and abilities and behaviors that all add up to making your character, your world, feel like yours. What makes them special? What whimsical characteristics do they have? Now, the one I like to draw attention to here is susceptibilities. It comes up multiple times in the Orville that the Mocklins are very susceptible to addiction, certainly with tobacco and pornography. This led to multiple really well-written narratives that were both memorable and really funny. It also made it a lot more relatable, which storytelling is always improved by relatability. There are a few more elements you need to think about here. What was it that made Bortus stand out in this scene? What was it that made Bortus special when he saved the dying star? And what was it that was really important about this scene in respect to Captain Mercer? Contrast. It was the contrast against the other races that made this stand out so much. And don't forget, all of these qualities built up one after the other. The environment led to the behaviours and the abilities. It all made one long narrative. Sprinkle a little whimsy and maybe a mystery here or there, and you've got a very fleshed out playable race. Thank you all who watched this video. I know it's a bit different to what I normally do, but I was really excited to make this. Thank you to all my Patreons, and thanks to the first 1,000 of you who made me a partner on YouTube. You really are the heroes. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.